I have a slightly different take on food preparation. Prepping, blah, blah, blah. It's everywhere. Everybody's been talking about it. They've been talking about it for years. Okay, well, you know what everybody says? Hey, buy beans, buy ramen noodles, buy this, buy that, blah, blah, blah. You know, make sure you got your 15 bean soup and make sure you have 75 pounds of pinto beans. And you know what? This all makes perfect sense until you are a person that lives in a situation where you don't have any water. How do you make all this shit? This stuff is dry, hard to eat, it's tough, it's gross. I agree. Dry beans last forever. But you only have so much of this, but when that shit runs out, then what do you do? Well, obviously, you keep stocking up on, what you can get. And I agree with that. The thing is, try to find stuff that has its own moisture. Unless you're doing a bug out bag. I mean, if you're doing a bug out bag, yeah, grab a 15-pound bag of pinto beans and a 5-pound bag of rice and run. There's a lot of food there. But if you're at home, find stuff that's already pre-made. And I know this sounds terrible, but I mean, get your shit that's already got water in it. Save your water for drinking. Washing your hands, washing your butt, washing your dishes. Don't lick your bowls clean. I'll get into that in a minute, but try to find stuff that already has as much moisture in it that is needed in order to consume the product. I agree, like I said, with beans and stuff, but I tell you, these cans of beans here, I can open that can and eat it. A bag of pinto beans takes a quart of water and a minimum of 24 hours to make. This can of beans is 29 cents and I can open a can and eat it right now. I mean, I might be thirsty afterwards because of the sodium, but I don't have to take my drinking water to make this product. The biggest thing people need to think about in prepping, in my opinion, in prepping, is water, 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 water. Where are you going to find it? I mean, if you're somebody that's in Nevada, California, Arizona, New Mexico, parts of Texas, man, there is no fucking water. How are you gonna make all this stuff? I mean, yeah, I've got 100. Well, not. I'm not gonna show you what I have, but I mean, yeah, I got 50 boxes of mac and cheese. Okay, how are you gonna make this shit if you don't have water? How the fuck are you gonna make it? Everybody talks about prepping with beans and all that other stuff, but I'm a little different. I'm thinking, you buy this, it's already full of water. If you're man enough to eat that, leave a comment below. Come on, tell me, how do you make it edible? I know how to do it. Do you? And it's more than just frying it up and adding an egg. I mean, that's what the ingredients tell you. Warm it up, add an egg, mix it all together, and keep cooking. Nah. How do you make this? Tell me down below. But, make sure anything that you have that you're keeping in your preps, make sure it's got water in it. Because, you can go, technically, they say 3 weeks without food. I don't know if I can go that long. I know I can go 3 days without food. But by the third day, I'm so shaky and useless that I there's nothing I could do. I mean, I don't know if I could even work my fists in a fist fight, honestly. But I can tell you that after 24 hours without water, I am far worse. I'm shaky and twitchy and dry and mad and trying to come up with water, and I don't care what it is. I need fluids. So don't use hang on a second. I misspoke. Not don't use. I misspoke. Don't have all of your preps require huge amounts of water to make the product edible. I mean, these are some of my favorites. I love eating this kind of stuff. It's so yummy, but it requires a lot of water. And without the water, this stuff is essentially inedible. The same thing with beans. I mean, unless you've... Is there such a thing as a pea shooter anymore? I don't know. But, I mean, unless you're planning on taking a bean or two and putting it in a slingshot and going and, beating the crap out of a squirrel or a mouse or a rat or something, I don't know what you're going to do with it. So, stockpile water. Get as much as you can. Minimum, in my opinion, 10 gallons per person per week. That's my opinion. That is just for consumption. That has nothing to do with any of this shit. I mean, if you take this salty son of a bitch right here and try to make this, and you add water to it. I mean, everybody talks about, ramen noodles. Okay, fine. This is one of the saltiest sons of bitches that you can eat. I mean, look at 790 milligrams of sodium times 2. So now we're at 1,600 milligrams of salt. So not only does it take 2 cups of water to make it, now it's dried you out. It's so bad that you need another 2 to 3 cups of water to be able to recover from it. I ain't gonna beat this shit in the ground anymore, but just, I mean, yeah, I got a bunch of dehydrated shit, potatoes, I have powdered eggs, I have, dehydrated milk and stuff, but what does that all require? It requires water. Now, I live in Michigan. I'm surrounded by essentially 5 lakes. But there's been times in my own personal house, and I am a quote unquote prepper, and there's times that I don't have any water in my house. But I'm standing outside with a gallon jug and a funnel on the top of it waiting for the rain. And it rains really, really hard for like 20 minutes. And you know what happens during that 20 minutes? I get 3 ounces of water in the bottom of my gallon jug. 3 ounces of water isn't going to do you shit. So, keep it in mind, if you are backpacking or if you're bugging out, then yeah, you want everything dried. And chances are you're probably going to run to some place that's got a waterfall or a stream or something. But if you're bugging in, you're staying home, like most people are going to do, you're going to stay home. Shit, if you go from the top of my 8.5 foot, actually it's 10 foot, you go from my 10 foot shelf to my bottom shelf, just to carry this is probably 700 pounds. I'm not a mule, so I can't carry that. But I'm staying home. So anything you buy, make sure it's got the fluid in it. I mean, you grab this can of pork and beans. It's got water in it. It's got fluid. I mean, yeah, you're going to be thirsty, but at least you're not adding water to it. So keep it in mind, man. Alright, so everybody tells you, man, you gotta buy Spam. You gotta stockpile Spam. Treat. You know, corned beef, whatever. Yeah, I mean, that's protein. It is. But if you've ever eaten this stuff, it makes you so thirsty because of all the salt that's in it. Keep that in mind. Watch your sodium intake. Instead of buying 10 cans of this stuff, that right now this can is $9 a can. Instead of buying that for the same protein, there you go. And that has fluid in it. Pick up that can of beef, Ronnie. It's got fluid in it. Now you pick up this can of meat with nothing in that. And if you lose that key, you're about fucked. But anyway. Fluids, kids. Fluids. Can't tell you enough. Stockpile water. Go buy a gallon of water today. Go buy 5. Go buy 10. Your empty milk jug. Rinse it out. Fill it up with your own faucet. That water is free. Essentially. Fill up those water jugs. If something goes bad, the main thing you're going to need is water. More than guns, more than poontang, more than protein, more than carbohydrates, more than ramen noodles, more than companionship. You need water. To prove a point, I want you to do this. I want you to go 2 days, no water, no soda pop, no beer. Just eat your normal food, but instead of washing it down, with a Bud Light or, an Alka-Seltzer, or I'm sorry, an Alka-Seltzer. No, a soda pop. Instead of washing it down with that, just go without. I have done this many, many times, just out of curiosity to see what happens. So go 3-4 days. Well, not that long. Go after dinner, from the start of the day. Eat your meals. No extra fluid. I mean, if you're eating cereal, have some milk, but keep the milk minimum. But if you're eating oatmeal, no extra fluid. Eat your sandwich, no extra fluid. Eat, your sandwich, your chips, whatever. You go out for dinner, don't drink. No water, no soda pop. Just try it. Try it for a day. I'd recommend 2, but try it for a day. The reason I say I recommend it for 2 days is because the first day you wake up, you're kind of thirsty, and it's not that big of a deal. But by the second day, you wake up and it's like, oh shit. And then by the third day, You don't want soda pop. You don't want Kool-Aid. You don't want beer. You don't want pickle juice, or even if you're hungover. Later on, or some other time. But you don't want anything except for straight water. Try it. Go 2 days without water. See what happens to you. I do this as part of my preps. I force myself to do things that I don't want to do. Because what happens if I have to do this later? I mean, no, I don't go over and shoot the neighbor's dog and, put the dog on a spit and cook it over a fire. That's not what I'm getting at. But, I'll go a couple of days without good fluids, water, obviously. Eat ramen noodles for 3 or 4 or 5 days and see what your guts are doing. Try living on just, your bean plan that you have. You're like, oh man, I got all these beans. I got these 15 bean soup. It's going to be awesome. And I got chili mix and I can do this and I can do that. Well, you know what? I do too. And this is a liquid chili. It's got water in it. So, I mean, it's not dry as a popcorn fart. But you eat a can of that every other day. So, I mean, mind you, you're starving to death. So you'll eat half this can today, and you'll eat the other half can tomorrow. But by your 4th day, how thirsty are you? Let's look at that sodium. 1,000 milligrams times 2. So 1,000 milligrams of salt every day. Or let's say you don't know how to pace yourself, and you eat 3 or 4 cans of this the first week. You're gonna be so dried out, man. Your pee is gonna come out. It's gonna look like apple cider vinegar. It's gonna burn. It's gonna stink. It's gonna hurt. And you're gonna be so cramped up that every time you try to move, all you get is muscle cramps. So, if something bad were to happen, you can't do shit because you're laying there all cramped up. You try to make a fist and your hand hurts. Or your hands are so small and they don't turn into fists, they just like meatballs. Try this shit out while you can still do it as a test before you fucking have to. Man, that I got nothing more to say. Oh, and date your cans. I don't mean date them, sexually. Date your fucking cans. See where you're at. And most of the time with expiration dates, give it 3 to 4 years after the expiration date. You're usually still good to go. But, man, don't hold me liable. But everything here is salty as fuck. I mean, there's an old saying, once it goes in a can, it ain't worth eating. This shit is salty as hell. But it's still better than the dehydrated shit that's going to take all of your water to make and then all of your water to recover from. So, I mean, you're fucked either way. I mean, man, if shit goes bad, it's bad, it's bad. Do your best to make the best of it, right? Tell me what you do. Tell me how does it work for you? What are you going through? What have you done? Have you experienced this where you've been so dehydrated that you just have no idea how to think? I mean, I went through Afghanistan, so I was part of the military, and there was no such thing as dehydration because you hydrated many times a day. And different situation. But if you got no water, you're going to get dry. How do you get water? What do? Do you dig a hole in the dirt? Do you put some pantyhose down and hope that the shit that comes through you can actually drink? Or maybe you tag into a sewer line, or maybe the groundwater that you're getting to come up, maybe that's good, maybe it's not. Just because it comes out of the ground doesn't mean you can drink it. Do you know anything about that? Pay attention, preppers. Good luck to you all. I love you all. Please tell me how you feel. What's going on in your world? Talk to me. Good luck. I hope to see you soon. But don't come knock on my door. Because, as I've said many times before, it's just another body to fertilize my crops. Don't come out here. Good luck to you.